We're moving on with the CS4, and with this tutorial we're going to add our text. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Let's click on the text tool, just click text tool, and I'm going to type in, what was it, Electro store. Yeah, it doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter anything like that. My spelling is terrible, but you all know that by now and you forgive me. So Electro store. Okay, now if you move your mouse below the writing, you'll notice it automatically turns into a move tool. I can then just move that up, okay, and that should be fine. I can hit I just like to hit the marquee tool, and that deselects the text tool. Now you'll notice anytime we use the text tool inside of Photoshop, it automatically makes it on a new layer every time, so you don't have to worry about coming in, adding a new layer. It automatically does it for you. Now what I want to do is I want to make this text just a little bit bigger. So as always, as you know by now, Control T to free transform, and I'm just going to drag the corners out a bit just to make it that a little bit bigger. Double left click inside, and that will get rid of free transform. And do you know what I should have done inside of free transform? Sorry, is I should have just turned it in an angle. That's what I want. Turn it in an angle, and yep, that looks about right. Double left click, and we can always come back later and change it. So if I come down to my layers palette here, and what I want to do now is I want to add a style, and anytime you want to add styles, I just love the layer style palette. If you come to the Electro store layer and you choose this empty area here, double left click, you'll notice that the layer style palette comes up. Okay, right, what do I want to do with this? I just want to click on the box that says drop shadow. So there you go, you can see we got our drop shadow in, and I also want to add a gradient effect to the actual writing. So I'm going to come to gradient overlay. I'm actually going to click on the word gradient overlay, and this box up here, gradient overlay section, will come. Under gradient, you'll notice we have two colors. Just left click on that box. That will bring up the gradient editor, which will allow us to change the colors that we want. Okay, what I want to do is I want to make, if you notice at the bottom here, you actually have a slider which you can slide your gradient with. If you come to the bottom left, double left click on the bottom left, this little square with the arrow, double left click on it. It'll allow us to choose the color picker, and we can add our own color in here. I want to choose 1A 446A. Okay, this is the color that I want, this blue, so I'm going to hit OK. Now if you come to the second bottom right one, just double left click on that again, and again we're going to add our own color, and in my case it's 2D 6AA1. okay, this is the second blue that I want. There is our gradient blue. I'm then going to hit OK, and you can see, if I move this out the way, you can see that it has added that blue. Now I can come in at any time. I can change the angle of it inside of the gradient overlay. I can change the angle like this, but a much better way that I prefer is I bring my mouse outside of the layer style palette, and I can actually, with my mouse, with my cursor, I can actually just change it to the gradient overlay that I want. Once I'm happy, all I do you know what I might actually do quickly is I might actually add a stroke. Come to the bottom here, click on the word stroke. I'm going to hit where it said color, there's a black box or whatever color yours is, just left click in that. I'm going to go right to the top, choose white, and where it says size, I'm just going to make it a size of 2 pixels, and I'm going to hit OK. There is the Electro store. Now I actually spelled Electro store wrong, because what I wanted to show you was in the original it actually says Electro shop. But I just wanted to show you that you can now, anytime you've made this layer effect, you can come in with the text tool, selecting the text tool, click inside of it, and you can now edit this writing. So I can now add, as it was in the original, Electro shop. Okay, looking good. Okay, what I want to do now is type in the next text that we had, which was what was it? I think it was cheapest around. Cheapest Electro shop around. Okay, and again, if I move my cursor underneath the writing, it turns into a move tool. I'm just going to move it up underneath. Again, anytime we can just move any one of these layers whenever we want, so that's fine there for the minute. Just going to select my marquee tool. Now what I want to do is I want to do a Control T, free transform, as you all know, and I'm just going to bring this down a bit. It doesn't really need to be that big, and I'm going to double click in the middle. Now anytime you have a layer like this, you can still use the up and down, right and left cursor keys. So I can come in with the right cursor key and I can bring this along, or I can come in with the move tool and I can move it with the move tool. It depending on how big a movement that you want to make. Okay, so there it is, cheapest around. You can't see it, but that's right, we're going to come into our cheapest around layer, double left click in the open space, and do you know what, I might just, for this, I might just add stroke. Click on stroke, click on the word stroke, and I'm going to just, where it says color, I'm going to choose just a light gray, and mine is D4 DO. Hit OK. Let's have a look. Let's make the size 2 as well. Let's just bring it down a bit. Let's have a look. Yep, that's looking pretty good. If I wanted to add a gradient overlay, I could. What I might actually do is click on drop shadow, and that will choose the drop shadow. And there we go. Okay, again, we can come in, we can play with this. I think Electro Shop's a bit low, so I just come into our layers palette, select Electro Shop with my up and down cursor keys. I can just move that up to wherever I want it, and that's looking good. Okay, so that is the banner complete. Now what I want to do quickly is I just want to show you how to name these layers, and we need to get ourselves a bit organized. The first layer here, this is the picture of the man. It says layer 4. I don't know what it is on yours, but it's probably similar. Where you see layer 4, if you double left click on layer 4, it allows us to change the name. Okay, so I'm going to just type in man. Okay, I'm going to come to the next one, and if you want to test to see you're not sure what layer it is, just click the eye and you'll notice that the blue bar here disappears. So just click on the eye and that will allow you to open and close the layer, and you'll be able to see it a bit easier. So I'm just going to double left click on layer 1 where the writing is, and I'm just going to put in blue bar. Okay, you'll notice now that the actual text, it actually has written down what we type in is what it names the layer. Okay, so we don't need to worry about those two. The next one we got here is layer 7, which is this camera here. So I'm just going to double left click on layer 5, sorry, no, I'm on the wrong layer, layer 7, double left click on layer 7, and I'm going to call this camera. Okay, next one, if we open and close it, is the iPhone. So layer 6, I'm going to call it iPhones. And then we got layer 5, which is the woman. So I'm just going to double click on layer 5, call it woman. Okay, and yep, that's looking pretty good. I know what these are because it's these are the background images, so we can leave them as they are. The next thing I want to show you is how to put these all in a group. Okay, how to put them in a folder. If you click on the very top layer and you come down to the bottom here next to your new layer, there's a little icon that looks like a folder. Left click on that, and again we can actually name this folder. So if I double left click on group 1 and call this banner, okay, now what I need to do is drag those layers into that banner. And the way I do this normally is, if I've got a lot of layers, I select the first one, hold down shift, select the last one, and then I just drag them in. Okay, and you'll notice now there's a little arrow. If I click on that arrow, this now means I have all those layers inside of a folder, and I'm keeping it tidy. If you had, let's say you had lots of different layers but they were sort of mixed up, what you can do is click on one layer, hold down control on your keyboard, and then you can individually click on whichever layers that you want. Okay, if they're all in a line like this, click on the top one, go to the bottom one, hold down shift, and you'll notice they're all selected, and you can drag them in. So that is it for this tutorial. We'll be finished the banner. We're going to get started on the side content. Any